Welcome to the Player Supreme Show. I'm your host, Player Supreme.
Come on.
Welcome to the show today, fellas. Let me start by saying that we must be before we can do. And we can only do to the extent which we are. And what we are depends upon what we think. So on that note, thought, therefore, is the cause, and the experiences you meet in your life are the effect of these causes, or these thoughts, rather words. Saying that again, and the experiences you meet in your life, what you're experiencing in your life right now, are the effect of these thoughts. Does that make sense? As I've said so many times before, how you are on the inside is going to determine how your life is on the outside. If you have fucked up thinking inside, then of course your life on the outside is going to be fucked up. This is why I'm against the MGTOW movement. It allows fucked up thinking. And that's going to, of course, fuck up the life of these young males on the outside. I'm against negative thinking about groups of women. Like, for example, there are African American males who preach against African American females. They have fucked up thinking inside. Therefore, their outside world will become fucked up. Your mind is governed by what you think about. When you realize this, then you will find the solution for every problem, the cause for every effect. And since the mind is under your control, all the laws of power and possession will also be within your control. You see, the world around you is a reflection of the world within you. Let me explain that for some of you guys who are a little bit slow. If you do not enjoy life right now, if you're not happy, having fun, wake up every morning feeling powerful and energized, that is because it is coming from inside of you. Okay? If you're not attracting women or don't have a woman by your side, the problem is coming from inside of you. This is why I am against taking fucked up individuals and throwing them out in the streets and tell them just to approach girls. And you'll learn to calibrate. All that's going to happen is these people will get more and more negative, as we have seen, or I have seen within my own Facebook group with one individual, to the point where he wanted to kill himself. You cannot send a person out into the streets to approach women without preparing them inside first. Each and every day, every one of us is responsible for building our own world. And we build from within. We attract from without. And it is our own power of thought which we use to do all this building. I like Dr. Wayne Dyer. I've listened to several of his audios and videos. And he once said, all of our behaviors results from the thoughts which precede it. That should make total clear sense to any person with an ounce of intelligence. All of your behavior results from the thoughts which preceded it. You don't approach? What were you thinking beforehand? So the thing to work on is not our behavior, but the thing which caused your behavior in the first place, which is your thoughts. Our thoughts are like forces. Like always builds like. And like always attracts like. Okay? You've heard that whole LOA stuff, that law of attraction that woman stole. It's basically the law of vibration. Centuries old, yeah. Recoined it. She made millions. But there's truth in it. Everything has got to be worked out in the so-called unseen and thought, in the unseen realm, before it's manifested in the seen. That's what they say in the metaphysical world. In the idea before it's realized in the real, in the immaterial before it's created inside the material world. See, the world inside is the realm of cause. And the outside world that you're looking at and seeing, you touch your computer and all that, you drive your car, that's the realm of effect. The nature of effect is always determined and conditioned and controlled by the nature of its cause. That's the inside, what you're thinking inside, in case you haven't gotten that yet. So being in harmony with your mind and all its thoughts in the world, within, inside of you, will be reflected in the world that's outside of you in terms of ideal conditions, surroundings, and the best which everything has to offer. My friends, this is the foundation of health and essential to your own greatness, essential to your own power as a man, essential to your achievements, to all that you attain and all the success that you will ever have in your life. Being in harmony with your mind and the world within means that you'll have the ability to control your thoughts. Remember thoughts? Causes, yes. From the causes to the effects, you control those, you control the effects, you control how your life is. In case you don't know what MGTOW is an organization on the internet, on YouTube, and Reddit and other places like that, where these males have decided not to go and date women and go their own way. Men going their own way, MGTOW. They've given up. It's not manly for a man to give up. We were born and bred for all these centuries to not give up. Okay? So when you control your thoughts, you control the world on the outside. You got to learn to be in harmony with your mind and the world inside of you, your inside world. That gives you that ability to control the thoughts and to determine for yourself how any experience is going to affect you. Therefore, if you want to gain the power, then you've got to learn to understand the natural laws of the universe. I found that it's only the people who recognize this law and place themselves in harmony with it who achieve great success in life. I was watching a video about the guy Jim Carrey. He was broke and poor, driving and sleeping in his truck practically. And he'd drive up to some cliff overlooking Hollywood, and he would dream about the success he had. So he changed his inner world by visualizing what he wanted. And of course, you all know who Jim Carrey is. When the mind thinks and behaves correctly, when you understand the truth, as I try to teach the truth in dating, which I've learned that a lot of people just can't accept or refuse to abide by, so they suffer. So when the mind understands the truth, when the thoughts sent through it to your body are constructive, it will result in sensations that will be in harmony with the natural law. You'll find happiness. You'll find strength, vitality, and constructive forces inside your own bodies. But it is also through the same belief of our mind, now listen carefully, that all of your distress, all of your sickness, all of your lack, your limitation, and just about every form of disorder, disagreement, unhappiness, lack of dating, lack of a female by your side, lack of ability to attract a woman, that's happening in your life. Either you use your mind for good or you use it to hurt yourself, to harm yourself. So through the belief system in your mind, by wrong thinking, that we become open to the destructive forces that are around you. And so many males in the United States become open to negativity. Yesterday, I believe it was the anniversary of Sandy Hook here in the United States, where a young Caucasian male went in and killed 20 children. This poor fellow was open to the destructive thoughts that are going on inside of him. That's why I look at the racists out there, the redneck racist, and I feel sorry for them because they're caught in a world of negativity and destruction, and the only way they can continue is to act out on that negativity and destruction. Five people at the Black Lives Matter organization were shot by this very same type of people. So we always tend to act like the sort of person we believe ourselves to be. That is why I'm so insistent on become the player. Again, we always tend to act like the sort of person we believe ourselves to be. And not only this, but we find it hard, if not impossible, to act any other way, even in spite of all our conscious effort and willpower. So if you're stuck in that whole I only 5'5" nonsense, and you find it hard to get out of that groove, that's the power of your mind. The person who believes himself to be, let's say in the dating game, too short to attract women, will always find a way to not attract women into their lives. Just a person who has that poverty type of mentality, they'll find ways to always stay poor and broke. In spite of all their winnings and good luck, money can be handed to them on a plate, and they'll still find a way to squander it and remain in poverty. Look at the people who win the lotteries, who come from squalor. Look how fast they end up back there. Yes. Now, the person who believes himself to be a failure type of person, they're always going to find a way to fail. Even if all the good intentions or willpower, even if opportunity is literally dumped in their laps, they will still find a way to fail. We need, therefore, to eliminate any possible tendency to complain of the conditions that you've been living in, that you've been suffering through. That's why I'm against guys posting their lack of getting dates negativity stuff. Because it's in your power to change them and make them what you want your life to be like. You see, all of your actions, your desires, your feelings, even your behavior and abilities, they're always in agreement with your own belief system. Did you hear that? All of your actions, all of your desires, all of your feelings, all of your behaviors and abilities are always in agreement with your own belief system. So how about creating a belief system that supports you, that nourishes you, instead of a belief system that keeps you down? You see, we can say that our belief system is the foundation from which our entire behavior, our personality, and even our circumstances are built on. I had the fortunate belief to believe myself to be a player. I was descended from a player, my father, his father. So I naturally believed that I would eventually wind up being a player. And I tried to walk the straight path. I got married, never cheated on my wife. Then the game came out within me. The energy, the belief, because it was there all the time. I tried to fight it, as one of my best students did. He said to me, "I don't want to end up like you." He ended up like me. He became a great player. As you know, Greece 2000. So it's there. I already had the belief system. So I'm trying to give you the same belief system that will support you, that will elevate you. Your future is entirely within your own control. It's not at the mercy of other women out there or some unseen external power that's bound just to hold you back on the planet. Listen very carefully. Every thought that you have is a cause. Every condition is an effect. Okay? And for this reason, it's essential that we control our thoughts so that we can bring out favorable conditions for ourselves, instead of the trouble and the turmoil and the loneliness that you're experiencing right now. All of your power comes from within, and it's absolutely under your control. It comes through exact knowledge and also by willing, and through the exercise of certain principles. When you acquire thorough knowledge or thorough understanding of the law of nature, and you're able to control your thought processes, you can then apply them to any condition in your life. You're not making enough money, you apply your thoughts, that innovates you into action, you start changing that. Just wishing for things ain't enough. The world's full of wishers and prayers. People get on their knees and pray to God for this and God for that. And nothing ever happens. And I'm not saying there's no God. There's a story. A man prays all his life for a new house, a new car, and this and that. He dies broken poor. He gets to heaven, and St. Peter introduces him to God, and God's walking around, showing him where he can go play and have fun. And he sees a room with some locks on it. He asks God, "What's in there?" "Those are things I've sent you." And the man says, "But you know, I've prayed for things, but you never gave me anything. Can I see what's in the room?" So God unlocks the room. He walks the man into the room. And there was the new car he had prayed for. There was the new house. There was the pile of cash that he wanted. He said, God said, in other words, I sent you those, but you never saw them. Which means his mind was so clouded that he never saw the opportunities to earn those. How many of you guys walk by opportunities to meet girls every day, but you don't see them because your mind is clouded? Every thought we have is a cause. Every condition is an effect. A man named Charles Hannah once said, we must learn to understand the relationship between the world without and the world within. The world within is the cause. The world without is the effect. To change the effect, you must change the cause. And all of us, we live in the world without. That's the outside world. But very few of us has found that world within. But it's inside every one of us. It's already inside of every one of us, and it's creating the world that you're living in, the environment that you live in, the experiences that you're having. Our mind is therefore creative, and everything which you find in your world without, that's on the outside world, has been created by you in the world within, which is your mind. And all the conditions in which we meet in the outside world correspond to the conditions which we find on the inside world. This is because of the law of vibration, or otherwise mistakenly known as the law of attraction. So then we got to ask ourselves, how do we determine what it means to enter the world inside? See, whatever enters our mind through the senses or the conscious mind will impress the mind and result in what's called a mental image. A mental image. And this mental image becomes a pattern for the creative energies of your mind, a pattern for those energies to follow. These experiences are largely the result of the environment, result of chance, result of past thinking, and other forms of mostly negative stuff. Unfortunately, it's negative stuff, yeah. And it's got to be subjected to careful analysis before you let it enter your mind. That's the problem. On the other hand, when we form our own mental images through our own internal process of thought, regardless of the thoughts of other people, regardless of the external conditions, regardless of the environment that you're living in, it's also through the exercise of this ability and power and strength that we can go forth and control our very own destiny. I've taught this for many years, and some people take to it like a fish in water, but the majority of people struggle, and they don't realize the strength of their own minds. They're locked in a cage, just as the Beatles sung about Eleanor Rigby, with the key to the cage in their own hands. When you exercise this, I'm going to say the word power, don't get all woo-woo over it. When you exercise this power, then we take our fate out of the hands of chance, and we consciously make ourselves the experiences which we desire to make. Now I'm saying experiences because I'm trying to be more general and not just in the dating realm that I coach in. Now when we constantly realize a condition, you're out of life, that's a condition. Let's say that condition is, I got no woman. I have social anxiety. I'm a nerd. whatever that condition is. That condition will eventually manifest itself in our lives. It's therefore evident that thinking is the one great creative cause in life. Because when you start thinking that, I'm a nerd, I've got no women, guess what happens? You create that in your life. You created that. There's an African-American fella on YouTube. First name starts with a K. I refuse to speak his name because to speak his name is to bring negativity to you. He hates being black. He's 5'3". He makes videos whining about it over and over and over again, despite the fact there are other 5'3" African-American males who are virtual pimps in the game. But he cannot see them. Just as other people who are stuck in this loop can't see other people who are 5'5", and they're 5'5" and think that because of their height they can't get a woman. And they can't see these other 5'5" individuals walking around happy. They really don't see them. It amazes me. Every time I went on vacation, I videotaped other people who were 5'5", 5'4", 5'3", 5 feet tall that had women. I eventually realized nothing is going to convince these people, so I stopped doing that and started enjoying my vacations instead of thinking about all the members who had that issue. I'm sorry, when I do that, I take on their condition, their limitations. And that's not fair to myself. So to control our thoughts is also to control circumstances, conditions, the environment, and even your own destiny. A lot of people try to change effects by working with effects. That's sending a guy out into the streets to hoe chase. A guy that's by the dating scale, and I don't like the number system, but let's say the guy's a 4, he's a nerd, he's a geek, he has no social skills, he's basically unattractive, he's creepy, and tell him to run out there and just try to approach girls. Give him some techniques. Hey, use the environment. That's what I actually tell fellas to use when I approach girls. But I prepare my fellas first. So tell them to go out there and just approach. And that man is headed for a train wreck. Working on effects to change effects. They fail to see that this is simply changing one form of distress for another. The man was distressed. He was lonely. Now he's good. Now he feels the pain of rejection. And he's lonely. Do you see? Can you grasp that? First, the poor guy is lonely, depressed. Now he's getting rejection. Now he's super depressed. As what happened to one of the members within my Facebook group. It was not my fault. It was someone else that was working with him. And it's not that person's fault because that person is not aware of this. It worked for him. So that person believed it should work for everybody. And that is actually a false thing to believe. Some people can do it. Others, they can't overcome that mental stuff inside. And that's the difference. And a lot of people aren't even aware of this process. They just know they did it. I was the same way many years ago. But it took empathy and actually paying attention for me to change and realize, yes, I see now. Okay? I'm going to end the show here and we'll take up on the next show with more lessons on how to really, really change your life. Until next time.